人，让你从这一切，让你谣言。
That's enough. Go.
So the intelligence community inspector general told you that humans are not in charge.
They extremely hinted at it, yes.
Welcome back to the Codex Files. Thanks for tapping in. We're back on the mic with more conspiracies and creepy videos. So do me the biggest favor and hit and smash the like button for me. Smash the subscribe button and join the family if you like videos like this.
What?
Alright guys, some freaky stuff. 3, 2, 1, flip your phone. My in-laws are from Colorado visiting my wife and I for Thanksgiving. We're in Madison, Wisconsin, and their ring alarm went off. And look at this, okay? I'm gonna play this video up to here. It's 44 seconds long, so I can't play the full 60. But watch. Now you don't see anybody walking. I'm gonna rewind it. Okay, look. When we back it up, we see this person or whatever it is come in frame. It looks like a person. Fast forward a little bit more, I'm gonna zoom in. Whatever this is has 4 legs. Look at that. What is that? But we back it up, okay? Press play. It's not there. It's not on camera. But we do this. What is this? Somebody tell us.
Hey, did you guys hear about the Chinese influencer / ghost hunter who died after challenging some superstitions? So paranormal influencer Jiang Xiaorou was famous for going to haunted places, abandoned places, and for doing some stunts to show that a lot of beliefs and superstitions aren't true. She was very popular. She had like over 1 million followers on China's version of TikTok, Douyin. So in August 2025, she posted a video of herself smashing the statue of a goddess called Guan Yin, which is the goddess of mercy. And after that, she said, "Let's see how long I can live." So I got this video from Mothership, and you can see how she's smashing that statue of a goddess.
接下来请出咱们的观音，让你骗人，让你从这一切，让你谣言。
3人隐山林，全程走33步，念一句走一步，过程中千万别回头。凡人双肩有阳灯，阳灯护体，鬼门清。
Then in another video, she challenges the idea of karma. She burned some incense, and she said that she would die in a car accident tomorrow. She posted her last video on July 9th of this year, and in this video she called 5 numbers known as ghost numbers. That means they belong to people who had died, and one of these numbers actually belonged to a man who had died in a car accident. Also, you're not supposed to call these numbers, but of course she did. And in one of the calls, somebody actually answered the phone. And at first, all she heard was a man breathing hard. And then she heard a man's voice from far away. And then at the end, the voice was close to the phone, which freaked her out, and even she hung up. And then she called the number again just to make sure that she really heard what she heard. But this time, she only got a recorded message that she could not contact the subscriber to this number. Here's a clip of that call. It's in Chinese, just to let you know.
6还挺多的哈。再听一次。
Sorry, the subscriber you dialed cannot be
And on July 15th, her rideshare vehicle crashed and she sustained severe injuries to her head, and she was on life support until August 10th when she passed away. She was only 24. So a lot of people are watching her old videos and wondering if any of the things that she did actually contributed to her death. Of course, I don't know, but some people out there think so and some people don't. Maybe just a coincidence. What do you think? So again, my name is Ying. I am the producer of the Haunted Bay Paranormal series on Amazon Prime.
So I saw a video that someone was trying to buy souls on a street sign. So we're gonna call the number and see what it says. Let's go.
Thank you for calling Rabbi Perry. We buy souls of all shapes, sizes, and color, regardless of your sexual orientation, BIPOC, pronoun, or gender. Before purchase, please listen to the following options. For black souls, press 1. For Asian souls, press 2. For white souls, press 3.
Get off that
For all
shit,
other
bro.
inquiries,
Get
please
off
leave
it.
us a detailed message about what kind of person you are and what you think your soul is worth. Please be honest. Our associates are standing by. Once your soul is procured, the contact sign you will have.
What is going on? Dude, they were trying to like put a spell or tongues on me at the end there. I had to get off of that. If you want to see this sign and what I'm talking about, just search it up. It's in LA. They are buying souls, people. The search is We Buy Souls in Los Angeles. This is not a lie. This is scary. Don't call.
So the intelligence community inspector general told you that humans are not in charge.
They extremely hinted at it, yes.
Holy shit, that is crazy. And then you think of the fact that Chuck McCullough is involved in this topic and really helping out on the whistleblower side. And he was the first intelligence community inspector general.
Chuck is a beast, and I think I have nothing but respect for everybody who gives a damn about our nation and who cares to serve it.
What would the IC be privy to that might allow them to say with authority that humans aren't in charge of the government?
I want to be very careful and very respectful. Let's say you ask me a question and I say, yeah, I've seen gray beings. Hypothetically speaking, let's say I say that and your next question is, well, where did they come from? And then I respond, I think they've been here a long time. And the very next statement is, who do you think is running the show? Hypothetically, let's say that happened.
That's wild.
You can't convince me there isn't someone in there.
Literally, I promise you, if any person in the world just pays attention to the sky for 1 week, for 30 minutes a day, just looks up and watches, they'll start to notice a pattern. They'll look at their weather, crystal clear day. It'll start out like that too, no clouds forecasted, and then you'll see the planes going back and forth, back and forth. They're not contrails. And all of a sudden, there's a haze over the sky. In my opinion, they're lying to pilots, or they're stupid enough to go along with it, believing that they are combating global warming under what are commonly known as chemtrails. And I believe the reason a lot of us feel like off, we felt off for the last 10, 15 years, like something's off. I believe there's certain, important things in sunlight that make human beings vibrate higher. So even though we can still see sunlight, it's a different tint. It's reflecting particles, in my opinion. They've done studies on this, aluminum and all this other stuff that's in there, barium. And I believe that's what's making human beings feel very depressed and full of anxiety. Wow. And when you're full of depression and anxiety, it's a lot harder to stand up and fight for things that are important. I think it plays into what's going on. From our food, even Driscoll strawberries, organic strawberries. Studies came out, toxic. From what I was seeing online, allegedly, right? Yeah. So it's imagine the human being under attack from land, air, and sea, and then what we consume. We're in a really bad time right now, and we have to pull it together.
What's going on here? But look at this. Look at this. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
What up, people? Story time. So I used to own a barbershop with my dad, rest his soul. I was also a traveling barber. I would travel to cut athletes, actors, rappers, singers, so on and so forth, the elite. And I get a call one day from a very well-known basketball player. I'm not gonna mention no names because you know all of these people associated. I get a call from one of my partners. He's an NBA player. And he say, hey, it's a show that's shooting in Miami and they need a barber on set. Would you like to do it? I say, yeah. He say, I'm gonna call the agent. I have him call you and y'all work out the details. Long story short, the agent calls me. He say, hey, you came highly recommended by such and such. What's your price for the day? I gave him a price. He actually paid me like $1,000 more than the price I named. So I get on set and I'm gonna be honest, I'm a little excited. I was never starstruck because I've been cutting stars all my life. But I'm a little excited because I love this show. And it was 4 main actors. I cut all 4 of them. So after cutting their hair, a very well-known actress from this show, she walks in. She's getting her hair and makeup done. Getting it done. I'm just sitting, I'm on my phone by this time because I've cut all of the actors. And she heard my conversation with one of the main actors, and I told him I'm a minister. So she asked the hairstylist and the makeup artist, she said, give me and him a second. They leave and it's just me and her in there. So she say, I heard you say you're a minister. I say, yes, I'm a minister. She say, okay, I'm gonna give you some advice. I hope you heed it. I was like, what's the advice? She said, do me a favor. It was a door that I saw nobody come in or out. She say, crack that door and look in there. I cracked the door. I looked in there and it was a Baphomet chair. If you don't know what it is, pause this video, go look it up. Close the door. I say, I know exactly what that is. She say, they are going to do a ritual. I say, whoa. She say, ask the agent, could you get paid and you leave? Because you don't need to be around that kind of energy, that kind of demonic activity. I asked the agent, he wrote my check, and I was about to get out of there, and I told her, I say, thank you. She say, you couldn't imagine the things that take place in Hollywood that we have to do if we want to get paid. And I just shook my head. Let me tell you something. You couldn't imagine the stories that I've heard about the demonic activity that takes place in Hollywood. It would blow your mind. And let me just leave you with this one. Number one, to this day, I respect that actress. I love her movies, but I commend her for looking out for me. And that wasn't none but God working through her, getting me out of that demonic atmosphere. Last but not least, the devil really just got kicked out of heaven because he was trying to be more famous than God. Be careful of fame that you chase. You never know what you got to do to get it.
Nothing to worry about, guys. Toilet cameras are for research purposes only.
Now they're going to throw in a whole wrench. Here comes the CERN. This is what you want to say. The CERN is up. They cut that bad boy on. They do all these ritual dances. They change the frequencies of man because they're exploring the universe. Okay. And now they cut the CERN off. So now the CERN is down for maintenance.
Yeah, but in 2009, wasn't it that when the CERN was turned on?
Oh, wait.
Oh, wait?
Yeah.
And in 2009, that's when everybody was talking about this Mandela effect and all this shit.
Yeah, and then they turned it back on in 2023. Yeah. 2023, and a lot of weird stuff started happening immediately after. And now it's off again.
The Mandela effect is real.
And look, man, when you talking about Mandela effect, something that messed me up the other day, and I know I'm not crazy, bro. Chick-fil-A is now spelled with a K.
Yeah, it is, bro.
No, but we had this conversation.
We had this conversation.
It was always a K.
I don't think there was a K, dog.
It was.
See, but that's the Mandela effect.
It's like this.
Look, I hate admitting when I'm wrong, but I have to offer a sincere and embarrassing apology to anyone I made fun of who said they believed the White House was hiding aliens from us. I always thought that was an absurd, ridiculous proposition until I saw this video.
Administrator, we have some questions for you here at TikTok.
What's going on, Mac? First of all, are you in the cabinet?
Well, actually I am. After I had an incredible conversation with the president by phone to become SBA administrator, he texted me and said, actually, you're going to be in the cabinet. That's a really big deal. And it is, because the SBA administrator isn't guaranteed a spot in the cabinet. But because President Trump knows that small business is big business, this is a cabinet spot now.
Look, I don't know what kind of creature Kelly Loeffler is, but I do not for 1 second believe she's human. I don't think she's a mammal. I don't think she's part of any species that originated here on planet Earth. Like, the gait is wrong, the proportions are wrong, the speech is wrong. Also, Kelly, we could tell there was nothing in that folder. There's nothing in that folder. Try all you might to try to trick us, but we can see that you miss out on those finer details. And yeah, good luck. You're not going to take our planet away from us without a fight.
Leave. Stop moving that door. This is your final warning. Leave. That's enough. Go. Go.
I still very much so believe in God. From God's obviously lots of things have been created, but the Nordics and the gray aliens, there's a connection there of sorts. And according to my research, the grays are acting on behalf of the Nordics and basically following through with jobs for the Nordics. Is that accurate based off of your research?
Yes, that is accurate. And also the insectoid types, the mantis types, are working with the grays and the Nordics. The reptilians are an independent group.
Have a lot of these groups been here for a long time? Or are they more so they are coming from different areas of the universe?
You know, that's a good question, and I just don't know the answer. Many of them say that they have been here since the beginning of life on our planet. So that's a very long time, but for many, many years, everyone saw the human types, the Nordic types, in craft. They weren't seeing any other type. I have reports from the late 1940s where the Greys showed up and were taking people to craft, and the experience was just not as nice as it had been when the Nordics were there alone. I mean, because they absolutely don't look like us.
There's a theory about Neon. Yeah. People are saying he's actually a government informant. He's actually a police informant. FBI trying to pretty much catch people doing illegal things. Mm-hmm. So Squeeze Benz was with Neon, right? Yeah. Squeeze Benz went to jail for a year. Yeah. And the police told him the reason they caught him was because of Neon.
Called the Neon stream.
Yeah.
Neon.
And they were talking about it on stream. Like, hold on, let me.
I know. Yeah, you wouldn't expect Neon.
Crazy. Okay, boom, another one. So remember when the Miami PD was looking for Clavicular? Yeah. He was actually with Neon on that stream when he got approached and investigated with the police. Look, watch this clip.
I feel like I'm on drugs when I'm around you.
Did they say Braden Peters?
That's you?
Yeah. Look Neon's face. He's not even surprised though. And then there's another clip here. This one is wild.
Oh, it's too many clips.
He's walking. Look, and these police.
Get on your knees.
And look at Neon.
Get on my knees?
He's like smiling. Okay. He doesn't care because he expects it to happen, bro. Isn't that crazy?
What the fuck? Nah, that's insane.
You can't rely on eyewitnesses anymore. The mind can be fooled.
That dolphin just threw a fish at me. Yeah.
Let's start with the laughter. Everyone is 50-50 with it. Some people says it's someone that was on the dock, and some people say it was a dolphin. I'm going to say it was a mermaid. Dolphins have all types of ways of catching their food, and I can't see why everyone can say it's a dolphin, but a lot of time mermaids are with dolphins, and these are a few pictures that I was able to see. In this picture, it's two of them. I see pale skin, arms, black hair to eyes and a nose. Each mermaid has the same thing. She's turning around. Here's fingers. Everything went so fast. You really have to watch the video to see it, but if your brain is not there, you're not going to see it, so that's why I'm here to make you see it.
If I had to take a prediction of what happened with Mr. Beast after he hit like 10 to 30 million subs, I'd say him, Chris, and the other guys, they had to do something demonic. Probably take it up the butt.
Mr. Beast was like, okay, we'll do it, but it's going to be him.
No,
He's like, no.
they probably both did it. Chris turned gay because of it, and then he just lost the soul in his eyes.
Maybe.
That's another theory too. Or he just said, Chris, you take the butt one, I'll pray to the grave.
And he took it. Next thing you know, the kid's wearing dresses, man.
This is the old Hippocratic Oath that doctors had to swear by. They had to literally pledge their allegiance to these Greek gods. Look, I swear by Apollo, the physician, and Asclepius, and health, and all heal, and all the gods and goddesses that, according to my ability and judgment, I will keep this oath in stipulation. I reckon him who taught me this art equally dear to me as my parents, to share my substance with him and relieve his necessities it required.
Oh my god.
Crazy, right?
This is so demonic.
So demonic.
Wow.
Isn't that crazy?
Dude, I didn't know that. That's interesting.
Immediately it caught my attention. Like, what in the purge? At this point, the Queen Mary's been so visited by so many people, I'm sure people be dropping off their ghosts left and right.
If I'm not mistaken, it is a picture of a mirror.
That's what I was gonna say. Yeah.
So now,
I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, it's a picture of a mirror, so you're catching a reflection of a ghost looking through a window. It is a massive energy trying to mask itself as a human. It is participating.
So your best guess, though, we talk about mimic, we talk about, demonic entities.
I don't go with mimic on this one.
No, it's some type of parasitic entity that is taking advantage of all of the interest and attention that the Queen Mary gets. That's why it's there, because it's like, great, this is just a feeding ground for all sorts of attention, especially if you can look like that. You're going to get a lot of attention.
And it does raise the question, is this like a door to a hallway? Is it a door to a closet? Is it a door to a, what are we looking at?
I would assume it's a hallway.
You would think.
Madam V said it made her nauseous. And in the comments under this particular photo, a lot of people said that they were nauseated by the photo.
Right.
A lot of people.
Well, so. Yeah, it's, I mean, I don't blame you. It's nauseating.
Traditional circuits crack the moment you bend them. Engineers solved this with one idea. Nothing snaps. Nothing breaks. Instead of straight lines, the circuit traces are designed as S-curves. When the material stretches, the curves gradually straighten. Just a circuit moving with the body. This is already inside medical patches, smart fabrics, and flexible displays right now.
This is the most deadly highway in America. What? It is so deadly that rental car companies literally mention it by name and refuse to rent to you if you're gonna drive on it. No way. It's known as Dalton Highway. It's in Alaska, and it stretches for 414 miles. Crazy thing about it is 414 miles of absolutely nothing. Nothing. It was built in 1974 because they discovered oil at the tip of Alaska in the Arctic Ocean. Government was like, we need to get something quickly so we can have trucks drive up and down here with the oil. A couple of things about this highway that are so terrifying is there's not a single human being lives within 250 miles in any direction. So if you get stuck, you're literally stranded. There's a part of this highway that's called Adigan Pass. It is literally in the most remote wilderness in all of America. This part of the highway is covered in snow for 11 out of 12 months. It is common for gigantic avalanches to come down and just bury the 18-wheelers or cars that decide to drive down this highway. And the scariest part about it is the coldest temperature ever recorded in the United States of America was recorded on this pass. Negative 80 degrees Fahrenheit. What? If your car breaks down, you're dead.
Anyone have any idea where thousands of gallons of water just randomly goes overnight? Like it's just gone. Hot tub still has water, but the entire pool is empty.
Low tide. It will be back later. Nature is amazing.
If consciousness is external to the body, your brain is kind of like a consciousness radio receiver that's tuned to a frequency. You ever heard of sudden savant syndrome? This happens when somebody gets in a car accident, bumps their head, and suddenly they speak French. And they've never learned French, ever. This is well documented. Or somebody bumps their head, falls off a bike, and then they're an expert genius at calculus. Or they can suddenly play the violin. It's called sudden savant syndrome. And so there is no possible scientific explanation for it. None whatsoever. So if our brains are little receivers of consciousness, maybe this like a little bump on the head or a little head trauma somehow modifies that dial to where that person just shifted the frequency that they're tuning into or something. And if sudden savant syndrome can start to show us things like that and how people experience that, and you've got this stuff out here called the telepathy tapes now, where it's showing us like we have no idea what's going on. But maybe that's what remote viewing is. It's like that person just has a skill to be able to hit that tuner knob the right way, to be able to just tune into another piece of consciousness above a file on a desk in Moscow somewhere.
Ancient sorcerers and alchemists knew how to trap spirits inside of objects and bring them to life. The homunculus, the golem, these living idols. This occult science is real and it's hidden in plain sight today. The homunculus, in 1537, Paracelsus wrote in De Natura Rerum, take human sperm, seal it in a glass vessel, let it rot in horse manure for 40 days until it starts moving. Then feed it the arcanum of human blood for 40 weeks and you grow a living miniature human. The golem. Medieval Jewish mystics, following texts like the Sefer Yetzirah and Eleazar of Worms, they shaped clay into a body, circled it, chanting divine names, and then wrote emet, meaning truth, on its forehead to animate it. The secret fuel for all of this is the bloodletting rituals. Maya queens pierce their tongues with ropes to spill blood and summon gods. Alchemists, they used that same life force blood to feed the homunculus. Blood carried the spirit. Egyptians, they performed the opening of the mouth ceremony, touching the statue's mouth and eyes with sacred tools so that the spirit could see, speak, and eat. Hindus still do prana pratishta, chanting mantras and breathing life force into the idol until it becomes a living deity. We're still doing it today. Celebrities, AI brands, companies, the media, we pour our attention, our money, and energy into them like these ancient blood offerings. Modern idols are charged with the spirit. The occult playbook, it never left. It just got new packaging. Hey y'all, if you made it this far in the video, I've been thinking about creating a Patreon for people that consistently watch my videos and want to learn a little bit deeper. Almost every single video that I make, I spend about, 30 minutes to an hour of doing research, and this is all collected onto a PDF sheet. And so I can publish all of the behind the scenes notes that I'm taking. I can publish more exclusive long form content, and we can get a little community started on Patreon. But let me know what you guys think about that. If I don't have anybody, that's really interested in it, I'm not going to waste my time right now, maybe down the road in the future, you know what I mean? But if you guys got this far in the video and you think the Patreon's something you'd be interested in, please let me know down in the comment section so I can start getting it put together. God bless.
Bro, everything I love, I almost just shit myself. I came down in the basement to deliver these tanks, right? Everything cool, everything normal. Turning around, I'm chilling, I'm looking over here like, oh, is there another nigga, my heart fell out my ass when I seen this.
I know you lying.
Here are the 5 whistleblowers that died in the most suspicious circumstances. Number 5, the ChatGPT whistleblower Suchir Balaji. Balaji helped build ChatGPT and went on to accuse OpenAI of breaking the law to build it. I think we all know they did that one. 8 days after he was named in the case, he was dead, 26 years old. He worked at OpenAI for 4 years, quit, and then went on the record with the New York Times. Now, on the 18th of November 2024, their lawyers filed a list of people holding unique and relevant documents in the copyright case against OpenAI. Balaji's name was on that list. Then he was found dead in his San Francisco apartment with a single gunshot wound. Officially, it was ruled that he took his own life. His parents have never accepted this story. In fact, they hired a former FBI agent, commissioned their own autopsy, and they say that it found a bruise on the back of his head. Although, to be fair, they never released this autopsy. Number 4 is Karen Silkwood. She died while driving evidence to a reporter. So Karen made plutonium pellets for Kerr McGee in Oklahoma, and she testified to the Atomic Energy Commission about how sloppily they handled these dangerous radioactive materials. Then that same contamination she was talking about shows up in her own body and all over her apartment. In November 1974, she left a union meeting with a folder of documents, and she was on her way to a New York Times reporter. She never arrived. Her car was found crashed into a concrete wall, but the folder of evidence was not in the wreck, and it has never been found. The union she was a part of found this extremely suspicious, so they hired an investigator who found skid marks and a fresh dent in her rear bumper, although the state ruled that she fell asleep at the wheel. Sure. Number 3 is John Barnett, who died on the 3rd morning of testifying against Boeing. So John Barnett spent 32 years in quality control at Boeing, and while he was at the 787 Dreamliner factory in North Charleston, he found that the emergency oxygen systems weren't deploying. So Boeing's own research unit tested 300 of them, and 75 of them failed. That's 1 in 4. He reported it internally, sent it up. Boeing did not care, so he went to a regulator and sued Boeing for retaliating against him. In March 2024, he spent 2 days in Charleston giving sworn evidence against Boeing. Then on the 3rd third day, he didn't show up. They found him in his truck in the hotel car park, dead from a gunshot, ruled self-inflicted. 2 months later, the second Boeing whistleblower died as well. His name was Josh Dean, 45, healthy, had the same lawyer, although less suspiciously he was killed by a sudden infection, but it was sudden. Number 2, Frank Olson. Frank was a US Army scientist who wanted out of the CIA's biological weapons program. Olson, having worked on that program at Camp Dietrich, had seen what they were really doing, which, if he wanted to leave, this made him a problem. So in 1953, Sidney Gottlieb, the man who ran MK Ultra, spiked his drink with LSD, and then 9 days later he was sharing a 13th floor room at a hotel with a CIA officer called Robert Lashbrook. At 2 in the morning, he threw himself through a closed window with the curtain still drawn, which is a very inconvenient way to take one's own life. But trust me, it gets weirder, because police found Lashbrook sitting on the toilet with his head in his hands saying that he'd been asleep. But the hotel switchboard operator says something else. She says that she'd listened in on a call made from that room just seconds after Olson hit the ground. On this call, Lashbrook said, well, he's gone, and the other voice said, well, that's too bad, and they both hung up. But then in 1994, Olson's son had the body of his father dug up because he didn't buy the autopsy. So the autopsy in 53 said that his face was cut to pieces by the glass. When they dig the body up, there's no cuts, but there is a gaping hole in his skull. The examiner said it was rankly and starkly suggestive of homicide, meaning murder. Number 1 is the most terrifying secret society looking shit in the world. But before I get to it, if you like this kind of content and you want to just help me out, see more, please just drop me a follow. It really helps me make these. So number 1, a freelance writer who believed he had found one enormous conspiracy linking the CIA, stolen government software, and half the scandals of the 1980s. He called it the Octopus. That's why in August of 1991, he was driving to Martinsburg of West Virginia to meet the source, and before he left, he told his brother that he'd been getting threatening phone calls, and that if anything were to happen to him out there, it would not be an accident. Very ironic words, because that same day, he died of a horrible accident. The next morning, a maid found him naked in his hotel bathtub with his arm slashed 12 times. 4 cuts on one arm, 8 on the other. Of course, it was ruled that he did this to himself, and his body was very quickly embalmed, and the hotel room was scrubbed with industrial cleaner before his family even knew that he was dead. And every single file that he owned, that he traveled everywhere with, was gone.
In 1999, an interview was released in Sweden with an alleged reptilian being named Lacerda. In it, she claims that reptilians are Earth's true natives, here long before us, and humans are the 7th attempt at a created species. Were you able to disprove that story?
No, could debunk that story. That's the Lacerda files. So Lacerda she's a reptilian humanoid that does an interview with the Swedish journalist goes by Ola K, who is famous for debunking stories like this. He gets outreach from Lacerda. She says, I'm a lizard person, and you're the 7th attempt at human life. Do you want to interview me? And he's like, sure I do. And he's sure. And he shows up, at some cabin. They meet in some cabin. He's there with this equipment. And he just sits her down, just starts interviewing and recording. And his coffee mug is levitating. His pen's levitating. She makes his coffee freeze in the cup. She's got telekinetic powers. And she says we all have these powers, but ours is suppressed because our creators, called the Iligen, suppressed them from us. That way because we were just sort of designed to mine copper and defend the mines. So that's what we are. We're warrior miners.
That's what humans are for?
That's what we're made for. And they would try with us, and then it wouldn't work. So they would send an asteroid. They try again. It wouldn't work. They do a flood. It wouldn't work. And we're the 7th. And our experiment's going pretty well, but they're not super happy with it. So they're coming back to kind of fix it. That's the story. And according to Lacerda, there's other reptilians here as well, and they're competing for the copper. It's kind of a cool metal. You can do stuff to it. You can charge it with energy, spin it around. It could do a lot of stuff. Copper fusion does weird things, and according to Lacerda, there's a lot of strange stuff. So there's a war on the planet for the resources, and the Iligen are coming back, and we're going to fight the war with them. That's the story. I can't debunk it because it's a totally anonymous story that showed up on the internet, the year 2000. No one knows who Ola K is. He named himself K after the character in Men in Black. So don't love that. So no, I couldn't debunk it, but no, I don't believe a word of that story.
Really?
No, but it's such a good story. I don't think they're the way she described it is very present. There's a war, and I don't think there's any war in orbit. I think we kind of would see that. I think we'd be aware of that. Were we engineered to mine the Earth? That's part of a lot of legends. I mean, she's telling half the Anunnaki story there. And And she says the Christian Bible talks a lot about this stuff, and it could be interpreted as that. And she mentions some things that are in the Book of Enoch that track. So they're good stories, but I like hard evidence. That's why the third act of my show is everyone's least favorite.
Yeah, you said that the watch time just drops off.
It just goes away.
Which I find so surprising, but it kind of makes sense. What are the most common non-human beings people encounter?
Most common non-human beings. The Greys we hear about all the time. Then there's the Nordics. That race comes up a lot. These are like tall, fair-skinned, light hair, look a lot like us. The Greys don't. They're 4 feet tall, the big eyes. Those we hear. Reptilians we hear. And the mantis creatures, we hear about those. But someone like John Lear would go on George Knapp's show and say there's like 70 different species. I don't know. Those are the ones that I come across all the time. Those same four.
Do you think the Greys are humans?
I don't know, man. It's hard to say because time travel to the future, we know that's legit. We know that works. Time travel to the past is a little trickier. The math works. But it's hard to wrap the math around a craft and send somebody back in time. So, because if they're us, they have to be future us, right? But if you subscribe to the theory, it could make sense because maybe something happens to the surface of the Earth, so we go underground, so we have to evolve these large eyes to see in the dark, and we no longer need to be so big because we're compressed, and our skin is pale because we're not in the sun. You can line up the conspiracy theories to make them fit, but I can't get my mind around the science. Salvatore Pais has some really interesting patents. I don't know if you ever looked into him, but he has some patents about anti-gravity, and I don't think he might have a time travel one, but like creating wormholes, all kinds of stuff. And the patents are owned by the U.S. Navy, which is really strange. He works for Space Force now. He never gives interviews. Maybe he'll talk to you. That would be awesome. He never gives interviews. He's got these crazy patents. A lot of the technology looks like old Nazi technology or ancient Indian technology from the Vedic texts. It's really crazy. Like these spinning rings of mercury, like mercury engines. I come across that a lot, like counter-rotating mercury vortex engines. I come across that story a lot. And those are in his patents. So I like that because it's like someone trying to make it practically work.
Right.
But his patents are very vague. There's a lot of speculation. Physicists don't like his stuff. And his patents were rejected initially. The U.S. Navy called and said, no. We got anti-gravity to work. It's a legit patent. And patent was approved. They're not supposed to do that. So we have it or we don't. But my point is, it's cool that somebody's trying to make it work. So if he can make a craft go back in time, then maybe it's us.
This is the tote they was getting your sauces out of, and where the batter was, that they was battering your chicken that you were eating. There's roaches in the batter. Like literally. They're all in the batter. And this is the batter they was getting to batter your chicken up with. There's the trees and the chicken that they had battered up. And they was gonna fry and sell y'all. They literally got the half and half juice and the drink in the refrigerator with raw food, nasty. There's the batter that they battered the chicken up with. And you see the batter literally has roaches inside of it. Like literally. The lettuce they was chopping up serving y'all on y'all sandwiches. Yep, this is where they was getting the batter from. To batter the chicken they was selling y'all. Location called The Spot that was located on Bel Air Road and Parkside. They balled out, packed up, and crept out Thursday night. So I don't know if they have another location somewhere. They're setting up somewhere else. But baby, be careful where you order from. Yep, this is my next project. To clean and reestablish. All this is getting thrown away. Everything is taken up out of here.
My parents were right. We got food at home.
Absolutely.
You know, if you go to Disney World, for instance, down there in the Haunted Mansion, you see the hologram, right? Oh, you know how to make a hologram. Well, our scientists have learned how to make people. They call them synthetics. Are you familiar with those?
Well, actually, we just interviewed John Lear, and he was talking about being in an audience in which they were given a lecture by a guy that they thought was real and found out later he was a hologram.
Well, it's a synthetic. A synthetics, when you touch their skin, it feels like plastic almost. That's the latest technique. The old techniques, if you guys can rent a video, the boys from Brazil, rent it, because in it, it gives you the exact way how our government's been making people.
Really?
Yeah,
Well,
and the
on.
Soviets have a different method called...
I mean, making people meaning temporary people?
No, walking, talking ones.
Meaning through genetics? You're not talking about that?
Well, let me tell you, the movie shows it, but I'll share it with you right now.
All right.
All I need to do is take 2 cells off of your body, yours.
Uh-huh.
We give them a small electrical charge. I'm just now act like a fertilized egg. If I got a fertilized egg, all I need is a receiver in order to make it. So they were hypnotizing women, you know, said they were being invaded by aliens. And the fetus starts growing, right? Needs food. Well, they can use cows and sheep, too. Again, a food source, that's all we need. After about 14 weeks, all of a sudden that fetus is gone. Because they've learned to take, that's when the fetus starts developing its own blood supply. Then they've used a pituitary hormone extract that they have, which accelerates the being that grows. And the original technology was given to our government by the Greys. Now, the reason was that our scientists were all excited because we could have spare parts. If you need a heart or a liver or anything, you won't have any rejection. It's your own DNA, right?
Okay, because theoretically, if we have overpopulation, we don't need more people, right?
But the so-called elite are selecting on who they want to have around anyway, so if we want to keep people going as long as we can. I talked to the doctor that was working on regeneration of Castro, for instance.
Right.
On the DNA sequencing. And they're just learning about this.
Well, my understanding is that a lot of presidents have already been replaced.
That's right.
Yeah,
I don't think...
They're walking around, they look old, but they basically, some of the people are just
I'll just give you something
copies.
I'll give you something to ponder. Get some old videos of George Bush, when he first came into office. Look at the person and listen to him speak. Look at his actions and listen to everything that's there. Now, it's a lot easier to put somebody out in front to act as even Bush did. He had somebody else that was up there acting like he is and look like it. Even Hitler had he had his stand. In fact, his stand-in was the one that they found in the ground over in Germany. I mean, Hitler and Eva and the dog and 14 other people got aboard a plane and flew down to Barcelona, Spain. You were aware of that, and then ended up in Antarctica or in Swabenland, and then died a few years ago in Brazil.
That's what we heard. That's
I have all the documents from our own government.
Oh, you do? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have a contact, one of our
Stalin
contacts.
Stalin asked for they tried to burn the body, and he got the body back, and he said, wait a minute, different ears, and the testicles were different and everything else, so they knew it wasn't Hitler.
But is it a clone or not?
Oh, now you know going about cloning. Cloning techniques, since 1938, they've been making clone people. There's 8 countries making clones. I have a doctor friend that all it does is treat the clones.
Where do you get your information?
I get it from some of the people that are willing to come forth, and they talk to me because they hope I'll put the information out, because they always got 2 people following them and they may be killed. If I start talking about cloning too much, the people that get involved into that disappear on it. So I don't go into too many more details, but there is information that's available. And more and more of that's coming on the line. I just told you, go rent the movie.
Okay, Boys from Brazil.
Yeah, and you'll see the whole technique on what they show it to you in different places, so you can imagine what it's going on.
Okay, so...
Now, let's go to the next step, because this is the most important part.
All right.
If your physical reality that you have, based on this physical life that you have, this dream, is made up of the experiences that is impregnated on your body and in your mind, consciously, right? Mm-hmm. Your soul memory is another thing. Mm-hmm. It goes back whatever time that you elected to be in this incarnation for whatever reason. Now let's show you the division on these things. Since the body is very physical, and we just got you making a physical being in a few months for spare parts. They said, now we've got the perfect deal. How can we have that work better? Well, if you go to the hospital today and get an encephalogram, what's that? That's the memory of your conscious mind. It's on the CD. Let's download it on this being. Now we got a walking, talking duplicate that has the total memory that you have, because we just took it off of your own mind.
Okay, it's like Blade Runner, the android.
Exactly. The only thing is that it's like this DVD recorder. Sometimes you have glitches in it, so you have to have them tuned up occasionally or redone them. And so we take them to Camp David, or there's a wing at Bethesda Hospital to just tell you. If you go down there and check, you'll find the nurses, if they're willing to come forth, they'll tell you they work on those people, and they call them the others. I thought it was interesting. They're people. Remember, these people can think and act, but they don't have soul. That's also prophesized. Soulless
that's
beings.
true. That's true.
Now we have another agenda that's going on.
Right.
And that's a wrap on this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. If so, don't forget to hit and smash the like button for me, smash the subscribe button, be part of the family. Remember, stay woke, and I'll catch you next time.